Hello, my name is Shuttle and welcome back to another episode of Victoria 3 as German Empire. In previous episodes, we finally managed to get the peace over here in Europe. We were fighting against, well, quite a few nations, but we eventually managed to get a white peace out of it. I was trying to get something out of it, admittedly, more than that, but I figured that it would take such a long time that the cost of the war would just be unbearable. So we now have a peace. We do have a potential secession happening over here in Africa, though, and I don't think I'll be able to prevent that. We'll see how it goes, but it's very likely that it will fire very shortly. I mean, it's going to be going to 100% now. Oh, Russia declared rivalry. Alright then, we do still have a massive lack of convoys. If we have a look at the... Oh, yep, there's the uprising. Alright then. Oh, the Brits are claiming Lower Congo. Right then, right, I suppose we got the... Well, that doesn't really have a lot of troops there. There's like 1,500 men there. So we'll need to take one of the armies from back home, I think. Maybe the main army will do. And just send that down to Africa. That'll probably be sufficient. But yeah, so we'll need to fight off this revolt. I mean, once the convoy situation gets better, which I'm pretty sure like, it's definitely already on the mend, quite frankly, then it should be fine. Like, we can then make the standard of living in Africa be a bit better because they'll actually have access to the market, which right now they don't really have. We're also losing quite a bit of money right now. We've still got over 28 million, so I'm not really too worried about it. Like, it's going to be good enough for now, and as soon as we start getting a bit more of the rubber and all that from Africa. Request for market control. German Niger. No. You're going to stay in my market. Let's actually have a look. How is the subject? Right, I suppose the stuff is increasing a lot. Maybe what I could do... So I'm going to support their regime. I'm going to do the same for Senegal. It's going to cost us a little bit of legitimacy and influence, but I think that's actually going to be fine. Again, it's probably not going to... Oh, Spain declared as a rivalry. Okay. I don't think it's going to take all that long for our... Convoy situation start getting better. I mean, right now, of course, the efficiency is still minus 250%, so once it gets, or once the penalty gets below 100, which seems to be going down fairly quickly, probably in less than a year we'll be fine again, I think. But yes, oh, and what's this? Oil request market control? No. You'll be getting your market access soon enough. Just a little bit patience. We're building a lot of ports right now, which admittedly should help quite a bit. We are also probably lacking quite a bit of workers, mind you, so it's probably going to take a while before the economy fully recovers. I'm sure that it will be improving over time. We are... Oh, right, we've actually lost a bit of population there. We're still almost at 60 million. I suspect that it could just be that our... Oh, wait, no, of course we lost some because of the secession over here, isn't it? That would do it. Right, but the enemy doesn't really have a lot of troops. Oh, right, Britain is colonizing even further. Oh, they've taken the Portuguese colonies completely. Oh, no, not quite completely. There's still a little bit down here in the south, but not too much. The homie, no, I'm not going to give you market control. That looks like a dominion of German Niger is now helping to fight the war from the other side. I mean, well, the war hasn't quite yet started, but it'll be starting shortly enough. Now, how bad is the market access? Still minus 200%? So I suspect that it's... Okay, it will take us almost a full year to replace the lost convoys. But I think it's not going to take that long for the efficiency to be somewhat better already. Plus the fact that we're getting a bit more convoys through the port that we're building, so I think the situation overall will be improving. And thus the war begins. We should have our troops conquer their lands pretty quickly. Especially since from the other side the troops don't have any opposition, so they can just conquer the states as they want. Yeah, there we go. That's already one state done. Now our troops are moving into this front, I guess, to clear out that area. How bad is the convoy penalty? Still 183%, almost under 84 actually. So not exactly ideal. Oh, Russia is actually improving the relations. Oh, that's a bit of a surprise. Now, to be fair, infamy is dropping, so there is that. Oh, and apparently the estimation is actually taking a lot longer now. Alright then, well, we've got 2 other states already occupied, and the 3rd one is almost done as well, I reckon. There's not a lot of enemy troops remaining, so we'll be able to conquer that fairly quickly, I reckon. There's already 50%, and there we go. So that has been sorted. Excellent. We've still got a few states that are isolated. Well, actually, a lot of states that are isolated. But we're just going to disable those, or, you know, ignore those notifications for now. Oh, now it's back to 250 days. So I guess during wartime you regain your convoys slower, which admittedly makes sense. And I believe our army has returned back to... heading back to Rhine. So that will be good. I suspect soon enough. Well, supply network strength is now... okay, yeah, there's a little bit. So we are actually getting some access into the Africa states over here. So that should start helping a lot with the overall economy. Like, we're now starting to get some of the rubber back into the market, which is very much needed. We still have a deficit of about 1,300, which, you know, it's quite a bit. I suspect... oh, yeah, there we go now. It's 1,900 sell orders, so that's improving very drastically. We also do need quite a bit of telephones and, of course, automobiles and radios and many other things. But overall, our market is actually starting to be recovering quite nicely, although our GDP is still rather poor, but I suspect that that's still going to be improving soon enough. I suppose part of that might be because the construction speed has dropped down drastically. We're not building all that much anymore. And the private sector just... well, I suppose they probably do have a bit of money to build more, but there's just not enough workers in most places, really. Oh, but there we go. The colonies are growing once more. So we should be able to clear out these lands soon enough. I think... okay, so Maasai is colonizing in here, so we may need to do a bit of war against them to capture some of the lands. Not that we need it too badly, but, you know, just for fulfilling my inner completionist, I suppose. We do have a little bit of bureaucracy extra, but not too much. How is the bureaucracy looking like in our capital here? We have 40 levels. I could put telephone switchers, but that would be very expensive in terms of telephones. At the same time, that would be increased employment, another 1,000 people, essentially, per level. So that's 40,000 people, I suppose, increase. It would be a lot more bureaucracy and taxation control, so I'm going to do that. Hoping that that will actually help with the... I mean, we've got now 1,400, so is that enough, perhaps, to increase one of the institutions again? In theory, yes. In practice, I'm not entirely sure. Well, maybe we could go for the colonial affairs, I suppose, but there's not that many areas that we can colonize now, so increasing that further might not actually speed up the colonial growth at all. Right, we don't have any support for cultural exclusion or multiculturalism, because that would actually allow us to have maybe a bit more people moving in, because, well, we do have migration controls. It only is... well, I suppose it does restrict it quite a bit. I wouldn't mind going for the no migration controls, quite frankly. Although it might cause some of the groups to become a bit militant. There's just no support for it in the government currently, and that would... oh boy. The petty bourgeoisie are definitely opposed to that. So I guess that's going to be off the table for a little while. We've still got pretty good 99 legitimacy, despite supporting the two colonies. Now, I'm guessing the devastation is probably dropping now a fairly bit in here. That should then start... oh, yeah, it is going downwards. So that should then maybe fix the problems that are, well, these two colonies we're having in here. Of course, Congo is not yet a colony for us. It's still controlled by us. But I think once we've taken as much over here as we can, which actually, is there a way for me to colonize that? No, we are already colonizing that. So we can't colonize anything else currently. I could perhaps, in theory, conquer Darfur. Not entirely sure if I should do that, but technically speaking, I could. Independence in Danubia. Romania and Russia. And Greece and Serbia versus Ottoman Empire. Oh my goodness, someone's getting cut down in size, I reckon. Okay, well, I mean, that's pretty fun to see, actually. Well, there we go. The convoy efficiency is now pretty good already. There's still a small penalty, but it's not quite as bad as it used to be. Oh, and Sweden's having a bit of revolt. Right, so... I do still have alliance with Papal States. I'm still bankrolling Argentina and Papal States. I'm actually making money right now, which is a bit surprising. Now, admittedly, if need be, I could just increase taxes and be making loads and loads of cash. But I don't really need to. Although I suppose I might... Oh, right, France is fighting a war in Vietnam, I guess. No surprises there. Right, so how much do we have? If we take... I suppose we probably want to build electronics industry. Now, if we have a look at unemployed, sort by that. Okay, Franconia's got loads of it. That's actually a bit of a surprise. They also have a bit of a problem with... Let me just double check. So yeah, there are loads of peasants and unemployed in here. I'm just going to go ahead and build a couple railways in here. And then I'm going to build at least 1 or 2 factories. So we'll get electronics industry and motor industry. And that motor industry will be providing automobiles. I think that's going to be worthwhile. And yeah, so overall that's going to be a few things in here. We'll be actually building more. We'll build like 3 motor industries and 2 electronics or electric industries. That should help a little bit with our economy, especially getting more cars and telephones. I suppose also the electronics industry is going to be providing a bit of radios. Yeah, so that's going to be... actually, how much is this? Well, I suppose I can't see it through there directly. But yeah, it's probably going to be about 50-50. Or do we have... yeah, we've got some over here so we can see... Yeah, it's about 50-50 then with the telephones and the radios. We'll be building... or hopefully providing a lot of those. But that also means that there's places like Franconia. Actually, is there anything else? Okay, so there's a lot of peasants in Bavaria. I could probably go ahead and build some more. So it's the... well, the productivity of the coal mines is actually pretty good. I'm going to build one over there in Bavaria. And I don't suppose... no, we probably don't need the lead too much. Although we could probably build one regardless. And maybe an iron mine. Seems like the earnings on these are pretty decent. We could probably go ahead and build another wheat farm in there, and then perhaps it would be pertinent to have a look at the armies that we have. I believe there's... okay, there's 11th German Army, which only has... I think they only have conscripts. Yeah, they got 6 conscripts. The 10th German Army has a little bit... Colonial Army has 11 battalions, and that is starting to hire a decent bit again. So that is recovering quite nicely. Very good to see. We've got the 12th German Army, which is probably another one of the armies with only conscripts. Yeah, they got 8 conscripts. Not exactly ideal. I mean, we could start building those armies into proper armies as well, if need be. Not necessarily a terrible idea. I suppose another thing that we could build, how we're looking on the rubber and all that. Okay, we could use a bit more opium. We don't really have a lot of place for it also. Like, Sinai could still use... well, they got a port in there. I don't suppose I can put in a degree. I could maybe incorporate it. It would take 20 years though, so it would basically not be completed. So I'm not going to worry about that then. But yeah, I can't do a degree in there. We've got the motor industries. I suppose what I could do... so I'm just going to go ahead and subsidize that particular one. So they can start hiring people. We can start getting a bit more people moving into Sinai. And then hopefully... can I actually... no, I can't subsidize the Suez Canal. But maybe if there's more people moving in here, then there's going to be more people working there. We could maybe go and build one livestock ranch there as well. Provide a little bit of food locally. Oh, nitrogen fixation is spreading. We're currently getting the pneumatic tools though. Oh, and all discovered in Timbuktu. Well, well, well. But yeah, so that's going to increase the construction speed. A resource discovery... or rather, construction sector building throughput, more hardwood production, and resource discovery chance. So we'll be able to get the rubber and oil and all that discovered faster. I don't think we'll be finding any gold in our territories necessarily, but that's fine. We do have a load of productivity though, my goodness. Perhaps we should increase the... no, no, what? No, we're not going to increase those. Not yet. I'm sure that there's going to be at least... I guess the... worker rights is one of those things that we might need. Or if we, you know, take a bit of a hit on bureaucracy, but it does increase the construction efficiency, which is not bad. It looks like our colonies over here are, well, still a decent bit of devastation. It's definitely getting better. Market access seems to be... oh, Ottoman Empire back down. Well, well, well. Well, I don't really blame them. There was a lot of nations in there that they were sort of forced to potentially fight against, along with Russia. Speaking of which, okay, so they are improving relations with us. Alright then. How's Sweden? I'll probably improve relations with them a little bit. Seems to be on neutral terms right now. This looks like Friesland and Holland are different things, and then Limburg as well, I believe, is a different thing. Or are they? Oh no, the part of, or on the Netherlands still, a film unlocked, so we get 5% more prestige, which actually, let's go ahead and turn on the, film art. I might not be able to put that on or everywhere, but that's just a bit more tools, electricity, and that's going to be another fine art per level. So, that's potentially up to 70. Well, maybe not quite that many, but a decent bit more fine art, which I believe we already... Oh, we'll discover it in the Ivory Coast. Very good. Oh, looks like West Prussia is having a bit of a lack of infrastructure in here. I guess we'll go ahead and build another port there, actually. The railway is not seemingly hiring enough. There's peasants around, though. But maybe if the railway is just not kind of profitable. I suppose, yeah, there's no coal mines or anything like that in here. No, not really. I guess that makes some of the production a bit expensive then. I'll give the motor industries another level. It may not be quite that profitable, but I'm sure the cars will still be selling quite nicely. Right, but I do see that our income is still pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and increase the taxes a tiny bit. There'll still be low taxes, so it's not like it's going to bankrupt hopefully most of the people. That way we can at least build up a bit of a cash reserve again. We could definitely use that. Ah, there we go. As the construction throughput increasing even further, I believe... I don't think it's been applied yet. I think it's going to be up after the next week. Maybe not. Oh yeah, no, there we go, 1400. That's a pretty good increase. We haven't quite reached the same level of GDP as we had before the big war. We're not too far off, we're just about 33 million away. So I think we're going to reach that soon enough, and especially once we get more and more electronics, all telephones and radios and all that, we can get so much more out of it. And I think that's actually going to be very good news for us. It looks like the population's also, well, it's growing fairly steadily, almost 600,000 per year. And that is without, like, a mass immigration or anything. Oh, Armed Forces petition government to pass right of assembly. That would be going down in the list. How bad is our relation with the Armed Forces right now? It would get us pretty close to losing the patriarchy further. But if we have a look at the options, so it would be the right of assembly over here. But I do like the text spread from the projected speech, so I'm going to have to decline that. Oh, there we go, Lower Congo colonized. So that is now all ours. Good. And we've got at least a few states here that we control fully. But there's still at least 2 more states that we're trying to colonize. Hopefully it's going to go fairly quickly. Basically, it's just this state that we are colonizing right now that I need to complete. And then I can probably actually just create the colony of Congo. And not have to worry about the day-to-day control of all of that area. Oh, that reminds me. There's a frost in Iceland. What do we have in Iceland? We've got a few unemployed. We're building another whaling station there, which is actually not a terrible idea. Is the... Yes, we're using the steamers already in there. Good. We could put in the refrigerated rail cars, but I don't know if we have electricity in here. We do, actually. Okay. Well, in that case... Okay, we got the electric street lights. Put the arcades in here. Provide a few... Well, provide a bit more services for a cheap price. And then maybe the whaling stations... I mean, there's unemployed in here. There's... Oh, right, yeah. There's farms in there. Subsistence fishing village. Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's a little bit in there. Suppose there is room for a few more. Right, I believe we got the stuff in Franconia built by now. Yeah, we're having some issues with electricity in here, so let's go ahead and get another power plant. Did I get the... Oh yes, it's a coal-fired plant already. Ooh, we'll discover it in Corrientes. I believe that is in Argentina. How much do they have in here now? 5 Ulrichs. Okay, it's not a huge amount. Ending the slave trade. What's got a plan? Leader of the trade unions and well-known opponent of global slave trade argues that our colonial ambitions in German Katanga should be leveraged towards ending the practice on the continent. Due to end slavery wherever our power reaches. I believe so, yes. We'll get a 20% more colonial growth speed and colonial growth generation, so I think that's going to allow us to get a lot more land in here. Oh, right, it's down here. Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and make sure that all the power plants can expand if need be. Also, I do wonder how we're looking on... Okay, most of the plantation stuff is fine. One thing that we don't really have is opium. I don't know if we have any opium plantations, do we? Oh, we do actually have a few. Let's build the automatic irrigation on those. There we go. Oh, is that? That's probably in... Here, Pegu. Oh, and Eastern... Oh, I didn't realize they have some of that in Mali. Okay, well, Pegu we've got one, and we can't increase that any further. Alright, so Mali is the one that is then producing our opium for the most part, in addition to all the opium that we're buying. Trade agreement with 2 Sicilies. You know what? Sure. I'm going to try to improve relations with the Italian nations a bit further. Maybe I can help them then... Oh, 2 Sicilies has a lot of areas already. If they're going to get Sardinia, Piedmont, and then potentially Papal States, they can form Italy. Oh, Sardinia is... okay, so it's just Piedmont now, not Sardinia, Piedmont. Well, fair enough. Right, so we're building the power plants. Another thing that I wanted to up or have automatically increasing was the electric industries. All of those. And then maybe all the motor industries as well. I think some of them already had that, but yeah, not all of them. But there we go, that's going to keep the government construction going quite nicely. I suspect that the investment pool is a little bit on the low side. I mean, it's still increasing, but of course, they're purchasing buildings from me, so it's not really that much. Now, we do have a little bit of lack of taxation somewhere, so let's actually have a look. Where do we have that? Oh, Elsass-Lotharingen and Westphalia. And Silesia, okay. Well, Silesia we could probably do something about. Got 20 in there. If we just turn the telephone switchboard on there, that's going to give us the capacity needed. And then Alsace. Is there... There's not that many government administrations, no. I'm going to build at least 2 in there. And I suppose we could turn the switchboard on there as well. That way we'll be able to gather a bit more of the taxes, hopefully. It might not be instant increase, mind you, but I'm sure that it'll be improving over time. Saxony is still, well, I suppose it was occupied for a while. There's still 30% devastation. Oh boy. Pollution impacts is starting to be quite significant as well. But we'll just have to live with it for now. Oh, why are we not colonizing in here? Right, there's an uprising. I'm going to declare neutrality on that. So I can't actually colonize this while the uprising is going. That's a bit unfortunate. But that's the, well, it's not quite the only place that I could be colonizing in here. There's 2 other smaller nations that I could still colonize, but unfortunately it decided on a province that it wants to colonize, and then if it can't continue there, then it just gets stuck until the war is over. But I suspect that's going to be over fairly quickly. The British will be getting their colonization rights over there, and then they'll probably be taking over most of this fairly quickly. Now, we do still have a small shortage of man of wars, apparently. Who is even having these at this point? Ah, right, some of the Dutch stuff. Right, okay. We're also getting the electric arc process soon enough, which is going to require a lot of electricity, but it's also going to increase the steel production quite drastically, so we can get a really cheap steel. And the nitrogen fixation, that's spreading to us naturally. After that, we'll go for Zeppelins, which I believe is down here in the tech tree. Or the society tech tree, rather. And then we'll get a couple of things in the military tech tree to unlock the, or research the remaining tier 4 stuff in there. I don't think there's, well, I suppose there's going to be pasteurization as well in production. But I think we'll be able to do quite a bit of the research. Probably not quite all of it. We'll try to do as much as we can, but I suspect that we might hit a bit of a limit sooner or later. How's the world looking like in the meanwhile? Russia, oh, rubber discovered in Katanga. Well, there we go. Russia is pretty big. They've got their sort of kind of historical borders with China now. Japan still owns all of Sakhalin. Unfortunately, they are in the Russian sphere of influence. There seems to be still a few independent nations over here in India. Not too many, though. The British have been pretty effective at subjugating all of it. But the British flu. A massive outbreak of an especially deadly strain of flu has broken out in Wales. The threat is spread rapidly, potentially escalating into a global pandemic. I certainly hope that it doesn't reach the German Empire. I believe we will have a decision regarding that. Actually, no, not yet. Somewhere down the line. But not quite yet. Looks like we're getting a whole lot of engines produced. We'll get a lot of electric industries built. So overall, our economy is still booming. Ooh, rubber discovered in the Hurrahs. Alright then. There's another thing. Let's have a look at the coastal state. Do we have any workforce available in... Oh, we got a lot of peasants in Schleswig-Holstein. Let's go ahead and take that fleet that is not quite yet full. We'll go ahead and build... I think we'll build a few torpedo... Or destroyers, sorry. Although actually, maybe the torpedo boats would be the better option. They got more offense. But what about the destroyers? Do they have less... Oh yeah, their morale loss is smaller. So what do we actually have in here thus far? We've got 20 torpedo boats, some submarines and ironclads. Perhaps we should actually go with the torpedo boats then. Or keep this into a bit more sort of offensive fleet, as it were. So get 5 more light ships, and I think we might go ahead and get the submarines. Another 5. There we go. So that's going to be increasing our fleet to 80 flotillas, which is still relatively small compared to the British fleet, but it's already large enough fleet that it can at least, you know, defeat quite a few enemy ships in battle. It might not be, again, it might not be enough to protect our convoys, which will hurt our economy if we run into another war with a naval power like Britain, but other than that, I think we'll be mostly fine. There's definitely room for increase in the fleets, that's for sure. There's a whole lot of telephones. We also have a lot of areas over here that have insufficient infrastructure. Let's have a look at something like Hesse. They do have railways. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to subsidize all the railways, just so that we can see what the actual effect is going to be when we are... once we have everything active, so we can maybe get a lot more out of the economy that way. But I do see that we are actually out of time with this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also get the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.